So to reflect on the day, I've been talking to people about augmented reality and what it is that I'm doing in a couple of different ways. One of them is when you take your cell phone, you can think back to tactile interaction that you had on flip phones and Blackberries, and how that moved to touch on screen and then swipe, and even starting to get in facial recognition and things. And so that's all cool. Those are all really neat and important interactive modes. But I think that the cell phone-ness, the thing that makes a cell phone is the fact that I can be in contact with anyone in the world along the appropriate network channels and infrastructure that is available to me. Secondly, I have contact to information at my fingertips. So that's cell phone-ness, or the part of the cell phone infrastructure. And so one of the things I'm investigating is what is augmented reality-ness, AR-ness, along those same lines, because the form factor of the HoloLens is definitely going to change. It's going to be wiped away and be made transparent. But augmented reality and that core component is going to remain. So part of the purpose of this experiment is to try and understand that. The second way that I have less philosophical background in but want to understand more is this notion of lost connection there. The second way that I've been thinking about this work has to do with subject and object relationships. When you consider a horse and a rider, you can see them as two separate entities, and they each have their own functions and modes of being and ways of working. But when they interact with one another, when the person is riding the horse, they become a singular entity, something uniquely different than they were when they were separate. And so wearing the AR helmet and existing in augmented reality space, I'm trying to understand those same concepts. Who am I as an AR person, and what are the ways in which I see the world now as a person in AR? And already I'm noticing some really curious changes. So when I am operating this the HoloLens, because I only have really basic functions enabled and understood, it's like I know how to point and select and cause the bloom, and I have a general idea of where objects are located when I'm wearing it. When I pass it off to someone else, it's almost like magic for them of how I can point to seemingly empty space and select the objects that they are looking at through the screen that no one else is able to see. And so it's as though I have this awareness of where these holographic objects are placed within the world, even though they aren't there. It's like being able to see in the dark almost. And so as holographs become more persistent within life and are further tethered to space, will the person begin just pointing to locations where they know a virtual object exists, even though they can't necessarily see it at that moment? And so what are some of the parallels to everyday life in that way? Stop recording. Hey Cortana, stop recording.